Today I'm going to declamate the speech, We Shall Fight on the Beaches, by the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, delivered to the House of Commons on June 4, 1940. The German advance in France cut off the expeditionary route, trapping our troops at Dunkirk under relentless land and sea attack. By mid-May, after the French defense at Sedan and Meuse collapsed, only a rapid southern retreat would have saved the British and French forces in Belgium. However, this wasn't immediately recognized. The French forces tried to close the gap while the northern armies held their ground as the enemy advanced swiftly. Turning once again and this time more generally to the question of invasion, I would observe that there has never been a time in our long history when an absolute guarantee against raids or invasion could be given. Not even the days of Napoleon. Tyrants all excited by the silver of chance, and we are told that novel methods will be used. Strange and brutal tactics. We must be ready for anything. No idea is too far-fetched to consider, but we shall face them all with calm confidence and a steady eye. I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected and the best arrangements are made, as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once again able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. That is the will of His Majesty's government. That is the resolve of Parliament. That is the voice of the nation. Even though large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen, and may fall into the grip of Gestapo and the Nazi rule, we shall not flag a fade. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on fields and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend Ireland, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the beaches and we shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And even if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on their struggle until in God's good life with all its power and might steps forth to rescue and the liberation of the old, and the Britain will get its freedom whatever happens. Long live Britain! Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to declaim the words of Queen Rania at the World Summit on Children's Rights, Vatican City. Your Holiness, Pope Francis, years ago, a young refugee, Muhammad, asked you, will the world be again as it was in the past? This is a question that plagues millions of children, and it is one with no easy answers. In theory, the consensus is clear. Every right for every child. Yet, so many children around the world are excluded from its promise, particularly in war zones. Worse yet, people have grown desensitized to their pain. Today, 1 in 6 children on earth live in areas affected by conflict. 1 in 6. Every day, dozens of them are killed or maimed. They are robbed of every right to life, security, education, health, privacy, and protection from abuse. In the rage of war, there is no protecting children from humanity's cruelest impulses. Our worst nightmares become their daytime. In every news video flagged as sensitive, they are there, pleading and covering their ears after an airstrike, taking in horrors that have been blurred from our screens for our protection. So, the youngest victims of war are robbed of the most basic human right, the right to childhood. Expelling them from the realm of childhood altogether, they are demonized, aged up, portrayed as threats, or simply dismissed as human shields. I read a shocking study on the psychological state of Gaza's most vulnerable children. 96% reported feeling that their death was imminent. Almost half said they wanted to die. Not to become astronauts or firefighters like other children, they wanted to be dead. How did we let our humanity come to this? A status quo that deems some children's suffering acceptable based on their name, faith, or the land of their birth? If a right can be willfully denied, then it is not a right at all. It is a privilege for the lucky few. Will the world be again as it was in the past? Your Holiness, your answer to Muhammad's question was, no. When the time comes, the world will not be as it was. It will be far better than it was in the past. That beautiful vision is still entirely within our grasp, but only if we make it so. Thank you.
This is the same place where once Dr. Ambedkar stood and led the constitutional debate. I would like to thank the Kendra Yuva Sangathan as well as the Ministry of Youth and Affairs for helping a young boy from Haryana to come to this magnificent Central Hall of Parliament and share my views. I'll start. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and we have come a long way as a civilization. From Rig Veda and Samved to the longest written constitution of the world. From building Pushpak Vimans 4,000 years ago to building Neeraj and Tejas today. From worshipping Moon and Mars to today going to Moon and Mars through Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, we have come a long way as a civilization. When I look at this topic, I see three aspects. What is a sustainable future for me? What is the role of youth? And how can we connect both of these together? Logically, ladies and gentlemen, the West has just started to learn the concept of living in harmony with the nature. But we, as a civilization, had been worshipping trees and eating banana leaves for centuries. Today, as young people, it is important for us to take small steps. For example, as youngsters today, instead of buying a 2500cc bike, we buy a rupees 2500 bicycle for a local traveler. When we put that piece of plastic in the drain, and when as civilization we understand that nature has enough for your need but not for your greed, will lead to an ecologically sustained nation. And when we have the resources, will lead to a sustainable society, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we need to build a society that is sustainable and inclusive. It should include the doctors, it should include the soldiers as well as the sweepers that clean this nation. Today, as we have surpassed China in terms of population, it becomes inevitable that we make education and health infrastructure to sustain that population. Today, as youngsters, we need to ask a question to the society. In order to become sustainably suitable, we need to enforce and increase our employment avenues. Why should, as young people, we only dream about becoming IAS officers, doctors and engineers in this great nation of Mahatma Gandhi and vocational education? Why cannot I dream of a nation in which through vocational education, a young Dalit boy from Gujarat becomes leading shoemaker of the world? Why cannot I dream of a nation in which a barber from Tamil Nadu becomes the hairstylist of Bollywood actors? And through this entrepreneurship, our youth becomes job givers rather than job seekers. This will lead to a sustainable economy, ladies and gentlemen. And to conclude, this sustainable future is incomplete without the efforts of us 1.45 billion Indians. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Lose true or two that ruined your ability to function? Why are you always so tired? All you do is crawl on the couch with outstretched limbs like a sloth in slow motion. Where is your devotion to succeed, Maya? Do I need to force feed you discipline until you finally concede? I cook and I clean and I don't stop till the soles of my feet bleed. But I'm fine. I'm perfect. Be perfect, Maya. Be perfect like me. You only get one chance. Stop acting like a cat that has 9 lives left. Stop committing yourselves to songs, stories, and the spoken slam nonsense in a world where degrees and PhDs impede the need for poetry. And stop Chewing on your nails. Why do you do that? You like the taste? Are they sweet? You can't eat sweets, Maya. You're ruining your teeth like you're ruining your life. My teeth are perfect, clean and pristine. They gleam like the golden halo above my perfectly conditioned head. I don't need sugar, Maya. I'm above sugar. Why are you down here, Maya? Why are you down here when you need to be up here with the ones who have promising careers, who listen when information goes in one ear and doesn't come out the other? You'll never be up here, Maya. You act as if the act of listening is a crime, or you've heard me for the 666th time. I told you to stop chewing on your nails. You have to be perfect. Be perfect like me. Why is your room such a mess? The clothes go in the hamper, Maya, not displayed on the bed like your lack of morals. Not littered on the floor collecting more dust than my withered expectations. I need you to obey and say yes and okay. You need to do it with a smile on your less than average face. You need to try harder, Maya. Make it wider, Maya. Why don't you know how to smile? You disappoint me, Maya. You never appreciate what I do for you. You never try to be a winner and you never eat your dinner. You need to eat it at a reasonable time with a glass of milk. You need milk, Maya. You'll never grow to be tall. You need to be tall, be perfect like you. Stop daydreaming, Maya. Stop staring at the ceiling as if your one redeeming quality lies hidden in the plaster. You need to organize your life. Your life is a disaster. Just like your brain, just like your teeth, just like your future, which will soon come to an end if you don't put down that pen. You need to stop writing, Maya. Your life is not a book. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to love you. You have to let me love you so that you can be perfect. Be perfect. Thank you.
Nice. Yes, please. Good morning, everyone. I am Arav Gupta of class 7, and today I am here to declaim a speech which was delivered by Swami Vivekanand at Chicago on 11 September 1893 about Vedanta philosophy and religious tolerance. So let's start. Sisters and brothers of America, I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far off nation may well claim the honor of bearing to different lands the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religion as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in Abu Simbel the purest remnant of Israelites who came to southern India and took refuge with us in a very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to a religion which has sheltered and is still fostering remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation from the high spiritual flights of Vedanta philosophy, of which the latest discoveries of science seem like echoes to the low ideas of idolatry with its multifarious mythology, the agnosticism of the Buddhists, and the atheism of the Jains, each
and all have a place in Hindu's religion. Thank you.
A very warm good morning to the honorable judges, respected teachers, and the participants present here. I am Tanishka, and I am from the sub-junior level. Today, I am really very delighted to have this opportunity to declaim upon Sojourner Truth. She was a feminist, a racism abolishionist, and a former slave. Her words went in like a hurricane in the American society in those days of color and gender inequality. So now, let us all give tribute to her remarkable speech with her remarkable spirit. Well, children, where there is a lot of racket, there must be something at a kilter. I think twixt the Negroes of the South and the women of the North are all talking about rights. Well, the white man will be in a fix pretty soon. But what's in all here that we are talking about? That man over there says woman needs to be helped into the carriages, lifted over ditches, and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helped me into carriages, over mud puddles, or gave me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arms. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could hit me. And ain't I a woman? I can work as much as a man can, and I can eat as much when I could get it, and I can bear the lashes as well. And ain't I a woman? That man over there, that man says woman can't have as many rights as man because Jesus wasn't a woman. Well, where did Jesus come from? Where did your Jesus come from? I've borne 13 children and seen most of them being sold off to slavery. And when I cried out of my mother's grave, no one but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? And they talk about this thing in the head called intellect. What's that got to do with woman's right and Negro's right? If my cup is not going to hold much but a pint, and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean to not let me have my little half measure for? I can work. I can do anything in this world because I'm a woman. I can get into carriages and I can do all of the work alone. Today, as I'm here, I will appreciate every one of you for listening to me. Because in this world, we all live together, and as a woman, I'm saying this, that if my cup won't hold much but a pint and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean to not let me have a little half measure for? And that man lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. And then I a woman. If your cup was a kind of mine, wouldn't you be mean to not let me have a little half measure for? As a man,